can't live without you. I can't live without you. Oh, tell me, what can I do? I can't live without you. Oh, 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 can walk without you. I can't talk without you. I'm nothing without you. But I've lived for me without you. Need you now. Need you now. Need you now. Need you now. If we ever needed you before, we need to know. Need to know.
I just want to say,
If we ever needed you before,
I just want to say,
need
my
to
daughter had
know.
been to the hospital maybe 3 times this
Need to
week.
know.
They done blood work after blood work, test after
If
test.
we ever
Everything
needed
kept coming back
you
normal. Everything
before.
she said is something wrong. It's something wrong, Mom, because I'm just so weak. I'm just so weak. She couldn't even go to work. She couldn't do anything, but I just thank God. I hadn't
If
seen her
we
move this
ever
much
needed
this week,
you
but I just tell God, thank you for the healing,
Need
because
you.
I already know she's already healed.
you before.
Amen. Revelations, the 2nd chapter and the 8th verse. Write this letter to the angel of the church in Smyrna. This is the message from the one who is the first and the last, who was dead but is now alive. I know about your suffering and your poverty, but you are rich. I know the blasphemy of those opposing you. They say they are Jews, but they are not, because their synagogue belongs to Satan. Don't be afraid of what you are about to suffer. The devil will throw some of you into prison to test you. You will suffer for 10 days, but if you remain faithful, even when facing death, I will give you the crown of life. Anyone who hears, with ears to hear, must listen to the Spirit and understand what it is saying to the churches. Whoever is victorious will not be harmed by the second death. We're going to go back to verse number 10 at that latter part. But if you remain faithful. We're going to speak from this subject today. Remain faithful. Remain faithful. No matter what happens, remain faithful. No matter what you go through, remain faithful. No matter how hard it gets, remain faithful. Amen. Here is John on the island of Patmos, and he had been exiled there for preaching the gospel. And he said, I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day. And he said the Lord took him in a vision and showed him what is and what was to come. And he told him to write these letters to 7 churches. He told him to write to the 7 churches that was in Asia. And he told them to let them know, I know what you're doing. I know what you're going through. I know your sufferings. And I'm coming to get your house in order. There was 2 churches that only got commendations from God. And that was the Church of Smyrna and the Church of Philadelphia. And he told the other churches, I see what you're doing and what you're going through. And he always offered them a way to get back in line. But here is John writing to the church at Smyrna, which was the suffering church. This church was a church that was going through. They had a lot of troubles and they had a lot of problems. And God said, write to this church and let them know, I know what you're going through. I know your sufferings. I see that you're struggling. I see that your way is hard. I see that times are rough for you right now. He said, but even though you may think that you're poor, but you're spiritually rich. You may not have the money that you want to have, and you may not be living where you want to live, but you're rich in mercy. He said, but you're rich in grace. I thank God that there are some things that money cannot buy. There are some things that money cannot comfort. There are some things that money cannot accommodate. I thank God that even though when I'm going through, money can't mend your broken heart. Money can't lift you up out of depression. But I thank God that the joy of the Lord will bring you up out of any depression you might find yourself in. I thank God that money can't give you strength, but the joy of the Lord will give you strength. I thank God that in the midst of everything, I've determined in my mind, Bishop, that I'm going to remain faithful. I don't care what I'm going through. I don't care what I got to face. I don't care what I see and what I hear. I'm going to remain faithful because God has been faithful to me. And if I remain faithful, God said, I'm going to see you through. I come to encourage some folk this morning that God told me to tell you to remain faithful. Don't you give up. Don't you look at what you're going through. Don't you let it discourage you. But he said, keep on going. It's just for a little while. You just might be going through for a little while. But he said, remain faithful. Hold on just a little while longer. All you got to do is trust me. Even when you can't see me, even when you can't trace me, remain faithful. Even when it don't look good, remain faithful. Even when they're lying on you, remain faithful. Even when your heart is broken, remain faithful. Even when your children are acting contrary, remain faithful. Even when the devil is on your back, remain faithful. Look at your neighbor and tell him to remain faithful. Remain faithful. Hallelujah. Oh, we bless him. We bless him. Come on, give God praise. Come on, give God some praise. You got to remain faithful. I know it's rough right now, but hold on just a little while longer. Oh, you got to grab hold to the little bit you got and remain faithful. Don't you dare quit. I know you're tired right now. I know you say, how long, God? But God say, not long. We've may endure for a night, but joy is coming in the morning. All you got to do is remain faithful. I know you think he forgot about you, but God say, I haven't forgotten about you. I heard you when you first prayed. He said, just remain faithful. Remain faithful. Don't let it get you down. Don't let it discourage you. It's just a little suffering. You're going to be all right after a while, because I found out that God rewards faithfulness. God rewards faithfulness. When you stand when you don't want to stand. When you praise when you don't want to praise. When you pray when you don't want to pray. If you just remain faithful, God said, I'll see you through. All you got to do is trust me. I know your sufferings. I see what they're doing to you. I see the things you're going through, but God say remain faithful. Remain faithful. I know you got just a little bit of money, but God said, I got a lot of favor. I know you don't think you're going to make it, but God said, I can stretch your paycheck. Oh, I know you don't think you're going to be able to pay your bills, but God said, I'll make a way where there seemed to be no way. Just remain faithful. Stop looking at what you're going through and remain faithful. Remain faithful. Don't you dare quit now. He said, I see the opposition. I see what you're facing. I see the hardships. I know you done had some setbacks, but God say remain faithful. I know you've been sick a long time, but remain faithful. Even if you got to die with it, remain faithful, because I got another body for you. I got eternal life for you. Even if you got to die with the condition, God say I got a new body that cancer can't get in. I got a new body that sugar diabetes can't get in. I got a new body that high blood pressure can't get in. I got a body for you. He said, if you remain faithful, remain faithful. I know the opposition you're facing, even in the church, where people say they saved, but are not. And they're serving Satan's purpose. But God say, remain faithful. I know they shouting all around you. I know they speaking in tongues. I know they look like they got it together. But God say, remain faithful. God say, I got an appointed time to bring you out. I want you to stay in it because I want you to remain faithful. He wrote to this suffering church. They was already suffering. Then he said, prepare yourself for what's about to come. Ain't that something? That's like double trouble. I'm already going through, but it's some more to come. He said, even if it's some more to come, remain faithful. Even if it gets worse than what it is, remain faithful. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they was in the fiery furnace. The furnace was already hot, but then they turned it up 7 times hotter. But they remained faithful. And yeah, they stayed in the fire. You somebody, you got to stay in the fire. Because God said, not only are you in the fire, but I'm in the fire with you. Remain faithful. Because attacks come right in the church. They do. It shouldn't be, but it does. There was war in heaven. There's going to be war in the church. That's just the way it is. But remain faithful. No matter what you see. He said, prepare for trouble. I don't know who I'm talking to, but God told me to tell you, you better prepare for trouble. Because it's coming. He said, if you remain faithful to me, I'll be faithful to you. I'll be faithful to you in trouble if you be faithful to me while you in trouble. He said, told him, don't be afraid. He said, the devil going to throw some of them in jail for 10 days. Some of you going to have a period of trouble. But don't be afraid. Just remain faithful. That's the word for today. Remain faithful. In the midnight hour, remain faithful. With tears in your eyes, remain faithful. When you don't understand, remain faithful. When you want to quit, remain faithful. When you want to slap somebody, remain faithful. Remain faithful. The Bible says all that live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution. It's coming. Saved, unsaved, it's coming. But I'd rather face my trouble with the Lord than face them with the devil. Because one thing I know about God, he'll make a way of escape. God will let you be able to bear it. He'll give you the strength to go through it. You can still love people while you're going through. You can still serve while you're going through. You can still be faithful while you're going through. Yeah. They don't fear. Peter said, think it not strange concerning the fiery trials, which are to try you as though something strange has happened unto you. But Peter said, rejoice. He said, rejoice in as much as you are partakers of Christ's suffering. See, we got to learn how to rejoice sometime when we're going through some hard stuff. Instead of sitting there brooding over it and trying to pick it apart and seeing what went wrong. That's praise time that's been wasted. Why waste praise time on things you have no control over? Instead of just worrying about it, just praise about it. Just pray about it and remain faithful to God and God will see you through, because there is some things that we just got to go through. There's some stuff that's just got to happen. David said it was good for me that I was afflicted, that I might learn your statutes. David said it was good that I went astray, because it taught me how to trust you. He told him it's going to be a little period of suffering. It's going to be a little time. I thought about when we, back in the day when they only had 4 channels that came on TV, and it seemed like in the midst of your good program, they interrupted for the next 60 seconds. You're going to experience an interruption. Say, oh God, I thank you. If this was an actual emergency, we'll tell you where to tune in. I thank God for those interruptions, because when the interruptions come, God will tell you where to tune in. He might tell you to go to Psalms 23. He may say go to Psalms 40. He may tell you to go to Psalms 124. In the midst of your interruptions, you got to know where to tune in. You got to know what's going on so you can tune in and get the help that you need, because it's only a test. This is just a temporary interruption into your regularly scheduled program. But in the midst of the interruptions, you got to know where to tune into. Just remain faithful. Remain faithful. Even unto death. Remain faithful. God say, encourage the people today to remain faithful. Hold on. No matter what comes your way, remain faithful. Continue to fight the good fight of faith. Continue to fight till you have no more fight in you. But fight the fight of faith with a good fight. Some folk are fighting without not fighting a good fight. They fighting against people. They fighting against stuff. But Paul said, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, hallelujah, but against principalities. My fight is not with you. Your fight shouldn't be with me. It should be with the spirit that's trying to come and interrupt our fellowship. I shouldn't be mad with you, and you shouldn't be mad with me. Recognize the spirit in me and bind the spirit up. Continue to fight the good fight. Paul say, I finished my course. I've kept the faith. He said, henceforth is laid up for me a crown of righteousness. Jesus told this church that if you remain faithful, I've got a crown for you. The crown represents that you finished well. It doesn't matter whether you came in first, second, or third. The thing is that you came in. And everybody that crosses the finish line of faith, they got a crown waiting on them. So it doesn't matter who get there first. Oh, because the Hebrew writer said, we are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses. So it's not about being first, because it's already some people that's already got their crown. I just want to get across the line. It doesn't matter if I'm first, second, or third. I just want to finish, and I'm going to remain faithful. We got to understand that trials are going to come. But we got to remain faithful. We got to keep pressing toward the mark. Out of all that these apostles went through, they kept pressing. They remained faithful. They didn't quit. We don't have to worry about today what they went through. Some of them was boiled in oil. Some of them was hung upside down. Some of them was killed brutally. Some of them, lions attacked them. But and we crying because we can't hardly make it because somebody mistreating us. And we cause that to stop us from being faithful. Throwing in jail for serving God. We got a freedom to serve him. And as soon as we don't like something, we not coming back no more. Soon as it don't fit our agenda, we done. But I'm going to remain faithful. I don't care what kind of attacks are coming. I got to remain faithful because God has proven himself to be a real faithful one in my life. He's been there when I've been all alone. He's been there when I didn't understand. He was there when I couldn't see my way. And because he was there for me, I'm going to be there for him. I'm going to be faithful unto death. Because he left us some assurances in this word. Because he said, many are the afflictions of the righteous. But he said, the Lord will deliver us out of them all. There are some assurances in the word of God that gives us strength to hold on. He said, even when you're walking through the valley and the shadow of death, he said, I'm with you. Even when you can't see your way, he said, I'll prepare a table before you right in the presence of your enemies. The same people that's opposing you when you're faithful to God, he'll show them and you and others that I'm with them because I'm preparing some stuff. And while they're sitting there hating and trying to pull you down and pull you back, God is lifting you up right in their presence. Because there are some assurances in the word. He said, I know your poverty, but you're rich. See, we like tangible things. We like that we can touch and see. But it's something different when the bill collector call you up and say your bill has been paid in full. See, we want to see the money in our hand. As they say in the world, show me the money. But see, you ain't got to show me the money. Because God, however you want to bless me, bless me. If you want to cancel the debt, cancel the debt. If you want to do it that way, do it the way you want to do it. I'm not putting stipulations on what you do for me. However you bless me, I'll be satisfied. He told this church, you're rich. Not only are you rich in the spiritual thing, but I'm going to meet every need that you got. So if you remain faithful, I don't know who I'm talking to. Somebody, you about to quit. You about to give up. God said, if you remain faithful, I'm going to make a way for you. I'm going to do it in my way. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. We like the tangible things that we can touch and see. But favor is better than money. See, because money can't get rid of sicknesses in your body. It might can get you to some good doctors, but God still got to touch their mind. God still got to heal your body. So, Lord, however you want to do it, Lord, you just bless me, and I'll be satisfied. Because there are some assurances in the word. God is trying to get us to remain faithful. He wants us to remain faithful. Remain faithful. No matter what you're going through. Even when you don't see how things are going to turn out, God say, remain faithful. Paul wrote to the church at Corinth and he said, so we don't look at the troubles we can see now. He said, rather we fix our eyes on things that cannot be seen. He said, we're looking at things that we fix our eyes on what cannot be seen. Because the Bible said the just shall live by faith. He said we don't look at the troubles we see now, but we look at the things that we cannot see. For the things we see now will soon be gone. But the things that cannot be seen will last forever. We got to remain faithful. Don't quit. You're too close. You're too close. You've been through too much. You've suffered too much. You've lost too much. Remain faithful. He wrote to the suffering church. He wrote to the people that were suffering and that were going through all types of trouble. I thank God that he always sends a word of comfort. He always sends a word of encouragement that even when it seems like we're at the end of our rope, God will send a word of hope to strengthen us and to keep us going. Because there are some things we just got to go through. After he told them that I've seen your trouble, I know the troubles you're facing, he said, it ain't over. He says, it's going to be a period of 10 days to test you. Sometimes God has to test us, and he'll use the enemy to test us. He won't tempt us, but he'll test us. He put Israel, he said, I put you in the wilderness to test you these 40 years to see if you will remain faithful. He said, I let you go without food. I took you through the wilderness. I let things happen to test you to see was you going to be loyal. Were you going to be faithful to me? Sometimes God has to put us in the backside of the wilderness where nobody can reach us. All those applications and resumes you sent out, nobody called. The loan was denied. The person you thought that did have the money didn't come through. God said, I let that happen so you can trust me. To let you know, don't put your confidence in man, but to put your confidence in me. Sometimes you have to put us in some places. And it's a period of time. Because sometimes we think we're supposed to come out right away. As soon as the trouble hit today, we want out tomorrow. But God will keep you in the oven of life for a long time sometimes. He'll keep you baking till you got to get you tender. Sometimes you have to cook that steak a little long and slow. If you want it to be tender, wrap it up in some foil and stick it in the oven on about 225 and let it stay in about 3 or 4 hours. God said, I got to get the gristle in it even where you can eat the gristle. Sometimes God has to leave us in life's oven until we get tender, until we get soft-hearted, until we get humble, until we get meek. Well done. Until he done got all of that stuff out of us that was holding us up. Somebody, God got you in life's oven and he got the heat turned up. But when he get through with you, if you remain faithful, you're going to be tender. You're going to be more loving. You're going to be more forgiving. You're going to be more helpful. God said, I got to get you tender. I got to get you well done. I got to put you in the spot where can't nobody get you. I got you wrapped up. I got you tied up. But God said, I'm doing it for your good. I'm doing it so you can be who I called you to be. Time God will leave us in there. He'll leave us in there. And sometimes he'll pull it out. He'll take you out a little bit, give you a little relief. He'll pull you out and look at it and poke it. It ain't ready yet. Wrap it back up and put it back in there and go sit down. And then you in there crying, Lord, get me out. And he ain't even answering. He's saying, you ain't even ready yet. I know you ain't ready because you're asking to come out. He said, I know you ain't ready because you say, get me out of it. But when you sit there and remain faithful and say, Lord, whenever you bring me out, I'll come out because I want to be fit for the master's use. I don't want to come out tough. I don't want to come out where the gristle is still hard. Lord, I want you to be able to use every part of me. Want to be tenderhearted, full of mercy, full of love, a good taste, a good smell. I'm tired of being stank in the spirit. I'm tired of being without season in the spirit. Don't know how to talk to folk. Don't know how to love folk. But I want to be seasoned. I need to know how to talk to people. I need to know how to love people. So I need to be seasoned. I want to be right. Oh, God, help me to stay in life's oven until you're ready for me. That when somebody see me, they'll enjoy my presence. Once I speak to somebody, they'll be saying, I'm glad I talked to them. Lord, I need you to keep me in the oven. I need you to bake me a little longer. I don't want to be tough. I don't want to be tough. I don't want to be so hard that I can't feel somebody else's pain. Oh, God, but I want to be seasoned down to the bone. Oh, ain't it good when you get a good piece of meat and you chew on the bone and the flavor is in the bone? That means it stayed in there at the right time. God said, I want you saved. I want you sanctified. I want you filled with the Holy Ghost. I want you saturated in my spirit that your bones even taste good. I thought about you, Sister Edwards. You preached a message, bad to the bone. They threw a man in Elisha's grave, and when his body hit his bones, a dead man came back to life. I want to be bad to the bone. I want to be so bad that when I'm dead, they still talking about how God used me. I still want to know that they was talking about how I served God, that I was faithful to God. Remain faithful. Sometimes you got to stay in the fire. Sometimes you got to stay in the heat. Oh, God wants you tender. Yeah, he want a tender heart. Yeah, he want a heart of flesh. He don't want that stony heart. That stony heart has no compassion. That stony heart have no forgiveness. That stony heart has no mercy. But he said, I want to take your heart of stone and I want to give you a heart of flesh. But I got to put you in the oven. I got to put you in some hot situation where you think you're about to give up and about to burn up. But after a while, you're going to start mellowing in my juices. You're going to start mellowing in the spirit. And I'm going to be able to use you. But we got to remain faithful. Got to remain faithful. I'm going to keep you in there. If you're rebellious and stubborn and stiff-necked, you're going to stay there a while. If you're disobedient, you're going to stay there a while. Can't forgive, you're going to stay there a while. So it's up to you. It's up to me when we want to come out. And the more we crying to come out, that's the indication we ain't ready. And we ain't ready to come out yet. See, when you come out, when you're ready to come out, you be in there, Lord, whenever you get ready to bring me out. All I know is I done yielded myself to you. I'm yours now, Lord. If you got me in here, you got me in here because it's for my good. But God wants us to remain faithful. He wants us to remain faithful unto death. That no matter what happens, no matter what we experience, that God said, I want you to remain faithful. I don't want you to give up. I don't want you to miss your crown of life. I don't want to miss that you will miss eternity. But we got to remain faithful. We got to remain faithful. Some of us today we're saying, Lord, why am I going through? He said, because I got you in a place. Well, I'm trying to get you to practice faithfulness. I'm not going to bring you out right now. I want you to remain in this place because I'm getting you together. I'm making things right. Because one thing I know about God, he told Jeremiah, I know the thoughts that I think toward you. They're thoughts of peace and not of evil, to bring you into your expected end. He said, I want you to have a future and a hope. I didn't come to destroy you. I didn't come to tear you up. I came that you might have life and that you might have it more abundantly. And he said, I'm calling for faithfulness. If you're already faithful, remain faithful. If you have not been faithful, become faithful and remain faithful to God. Think about your life and where God brought you from. You know some of us shouldn't even be alive today. But because of the faithfulness of God, because of the love and the mercy of God, even when we were not even saved, God was saving us for such a time as this. And we didn't even know it. We didn't even know we'd be part of God's family. We didn't even think about it. He already had went into our future and he set this day up. God stepped back 30 years in some of our lives and came up 30 years into the future and ordained this day for us. That's how much he loves us. And we owe him to be faithful. Not only to be faithful, but to remain. Our future is already set. But God is looking for allegiance. He's looking for faithfulness. He wrote to this church to encourage them because they were a suffering people. But he said, after you suffered a while, he said, I'm going to restore you. I'm going to strengthen you. I'm going to settle you. and put you on a firm foundation after the suffering. But then he did say a little while. One day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. We don't know what God's limit is on it, but he said a little while. But he said, after you've remained faithful, I'm going to restore you. In other words, whatever came and wrecked you, I'm going to put you back together. I'm going to make you better than you was before. It's going to be a new and improved you. But I'm going to use the suffering to do it. And when I bring you out of this, you're going to know that I am God. You're going to know that I'm God. I thank God today for the word. Because I was preaching to myself. That we have to remain faithful.